What up? It's your boy A9, and we are back with another episode 12. I want to say episode 12 of the A9 cast. Today, you know what I'm saying? Last week I kind of made a promise, so I kind of said something, so I kind of had to keep up with it, or keep my word or whatever. So we're gonna talk about the 6ix9ine documentary. But first, let's talk about something real quick before we get into that. Rich rappers moving like poverty is still an issue. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, especially lately, are just a lot of rappers getting in fights, a lot of rappers getting killed. Lil Wayne just got arrested for a firearm charge again. So it's like it makes you sit back and be like, okay, these is multimillionaires. You know what I'm saying? People who should have the sources, the right security, the right people around them to where they don't need to be caught with guns and be having to fight for themselves and being chased down and murdered. Like, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of it just goes with that mindset of still being broke. You know what I'm saying? Having that mindset. Like, yeah, you got millions of dollars in your bank account, but your mind is still stuck on, okay, I got to keep my head on a swivel. Things can pop off at any moment. Okay, I got to keep it on me because this and that. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you still got that mindset, which a lot of these rappers, almost everybody who's involved in this stuff right now, except for Lil Wayne, is still new to this transition of being rich and being famous and having security and not having to be, you know what I'm saying, on their toes like that all the time. Cause it's just crazy that a lot of this stuff is happening, and even with the whole King Von situation, he shouldn't have to had to fight somebody because you have security, you got the money, you got this and that. All you need to do is just chill, relax, and move right. You know what I'm saying? And his manager said like he's always moving right, but that night just things wasn't clicking for him, and things just went the way they went. But that's just I was having this discussion at work because a lot of people pretty much saying, okay, Lil Wayne got way too much money to still be having to carry guns on him. He should have the right people. And then with all these other rappers and some dude that work with pretty much like rappers are trying too hard to be gangster now. Even with money, you don't have to be gangster no more. You got the money. A lot of people get in the streets and start hustling, doing stuff like that because they need money. They trying to get money. They trying to get out the struggle. Now you're out the struggle. Why you still trying to move like you still in the struggle? You know what I'm saying? But I get it. Where it's just like, okay, I'm from this life. Why do I need security when I have this, when I can fight, when I got guns, when I got this, when I got that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I understand both sides where it's just like, okay, why are you doing this if you got the money to not have to do this anymore? But at the same time, when you're trained to have to do this, it's gonna be hard for you to break that habit because you got money. You know what I'm saying? But that's pretty much all I want to talk about on that subject. Now let's talk about LaDanny's documentary. To be honest, I ain't gonna say it was trash. It was all over the place a little bit, kind of, to me. It went in order, like it went in chronological order, but certain details seemed backwards to me. Uh, Certain details didn't seem, well, I'm gonna just break down just look some key points of things that stood out to me. I took some notes on it while I was watching it, as I should. Um, it starts off in Bushwick, and they got some random dude that they talking to, and like right before he can say anything, uh, about LaDanny, he get interrupted by some neighbors saying, "You don't know Daniel. You don't know him. You don't know him. Stop talking about him." And I'm like, okay. Where it's just like it's weird because to me it seemed kind of planned because it's just like, okay, this dude just walked out the house, saw a camera, and automatically assumed that that man was speaking about 6ix9ine. And to me that just seems kind of weird. Like if I step out the door and I see a camera, it may be something involving the news. Like maybe something going on with the news involving something in the area. I'm not going to instantly just assume that that camera is there to talk about one specific person. Now, of course, he was right, but it was just weird to me that he instantly knew. And then the lady came yelling out the window, "Don't talk about Daniel. Don't talk about Daniel." And I'm just like, what's weird? So the dude, the narrator or whatever like that, uh, is trying to learn about Takashi, and every time he's asking or trying to ask questions, all they keep saying is, You don't know him. You don't know Daniel. And I'm just like, yes, he doesn't know Daniel because he's trying to learn about him. He's trying to learn about LaDanny. You know what I'm saying? It was just weird to me. That beginning was just so weird to me, and it kind of confused me throughout the whole thing because it's like, obviously they probably trying to protect his character, protect stuff like that, but it's kind of like, why did they start this like that? Like, I guess it was kind of a message to the audience, like, you don't really know who this man is, so we're going to give you in depth, but it just was weird to me. They started interviewing some dude. I guess he was cool with LaDanny back in the day. I can't remember his name, but he had dreads. Um, and at the start, he started talking about like gentrification, all that, saying like back then this ain't even look like this. Now it look like money starting to come in. It's looking like an extension of the city, stuff like that. And then they start interviewing. It says the mother of his daughter, which they could have just said LaDanny's baby mama, but they didn't say that. But she looked good in the documentary. I ain't gonna lie to you. When she was just standing there just talking, I'm like, dang, you know what I'm saying? But it's whatever. Low key, they had a lot of irrelevant people. They had some dude who was at some coffee shop. I think he was like a journalist. He was like, "Oh, I've been following 6ix9ine since 2018." It was just a lot of people where it's just like, "Okay, who are you? Who are you?" Like, it was people I didn't know about. Just really just talking about them, and like, it was hard for me to stay interested in what they were saying. The dude with the dreads, I was able to stay interested in what he's saying. The baby mama, she looked good, but like everybody else, Bodega Bams was kind of good. Like, there was some people was like, okay, I'll listen to them, but there was some other people I'm just like, bro, who are you? You know what I'm saying? It's like they was picking up random people off the street and just having them talk about 6ix9ine. After this, they started talking about LaDanny's clothing choice in his little clothing line, where he was having like eye catching phrases on it, and that was like his style. Like, you could tell from the beginning that he was just trying to do stuff for attention. He had beanies with that said like HIV on it, and shirts that say like all over it. And it caused a lot of buzz on the internet. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember seeing some of these things. Like, some of these things they were showing, that was like, oh, this went viral. He was really going viral off of this stuff. And I'm just like, I don't remember seeing this stuff. Maybe I did see it and never connected it to him, but I don't ever remember seeing this stuff. But they were like, oh, it went viral and this and that. Uh, this specific part kind of stands out to me. That part about the clothes, because first of all, I have a clothing line. This is my hat, in God's image hoodie. You know what I'm saying? I got in God's image shirt. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? I might make a beanie, look for a way to get a beanie just like this. But check it out. I'm gonna have the link to this down below, the link to the hat and link to the shirt. I mean, to the hoodie. But it shows the early stages. Um the clothing line and him using certain phrases that he know will catch attention, and him, you know what I'm saying? It showed the early stages of him just seeking attention, him being obsessed with attention, being obsessed with fame. Uh, then after this, it started going into the gang influence and how he lost his stepfather to gang violence pretty much, and how the gangs was pretty much all around his neighborhood. He wasn't really directly involved with none of them. He was just around, surrounded by him, and I think his stepfather was a part of a gang. They was talking about Latin Kings, Bloods, Crips. All of them were just in that area of Brooklyn that he grew up in. Uh, then it goes into him first making music as Tekashi 6ix9ine, when he decided, all right, the clothes and stuff is popping. I'm in my homies' music videos and just doing stuff like that. I want to rap like they rapping, not like they rapping, but I see the reaction that they get. I see the crowd yelling their name and stuff like that, and I want that attention. So that's when he started rapping with Scum Gang, which is a very interesting thing. Uh, Later on in the documentary is interesting that they say that Tekashi 6ix9ine was rapping with Scum Gang, but then later on the dude says that Scum Gang was never a real thing. It was just something created in Tekashi's brain. Like, Tekashi was Scum Gang. Like, there was only one member of the gang. And it kind of confused me, because it's like, okay, it says Tekashi started rapping with Scum Gang, but then it later says that Tekashi was Scum Gang and the only member of Scum Gang. But it was whatever. His music back then sounded way different than what blew him up. It was a lot more mellow, and his videos were a little more dramatic. Not dramatic, but off the wall and attention seeking. You know what I'm saying? Eye catching music videos he had. Uh, Compared to what would later blow him up. Even though what would later blow him up still was eye-catching stuff, all the stuff he had in the music videos. After this, it started emphasizing how his videos create a second buzz around his name, because the first buzz was from the clothes he was wearing. The second buzz was like he had videos of them riding around in Lamborghinis, him getting head from chicks, and bags of cocaine everywhere, and just like crazy stuff he had going on. People shoot needles in their arms, like it was just wild stuff he had in the music videos. This doc so far focuses on the small aspects of what would later turn Ladani into Latakashi. You know what I'm saying? Um, Kind of from his transition, it starts talking about when he started getting his tats, and then after that he started dyeing his hair, and then what I'm saying, it started working its way through that, just starting one at a time. Um, every Starts talking about how everyone was pretty much saying like, hey, you getting these tattoos all over your body isn't gonna be good for your future. Hey, you getting your hair dyed like this won't be good for your future. And how he would always tell them, I ain't worried about that. I'm gonna be a super famous rapper one day. You gonna see. Like it's kind of motivational, because it's like he knew where he was going to be, and he wasn't going to take no for an answer at all. He was going to be a big rapper, and nobody could tell him nothing about it. And it's kind of motivational. Then it started going talking about bodega bams, and pretty much alludes to Takashi having a weird obsession with attention, and he said it was kind of weird to him, and he felt like, nah, I had to stop doing music with him after a certain point, because I'm like, okay, you're doing a little too much to get attention. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like his music videos was dope, but his music videos was too much sometimes. Where it's like, okay, you really trying to get people to look at you, and he just always thought is a little weird. And later on, his baby mama kind of says the same thing, where it's kind of like he was doing so much just for people to like his pictures and get him views, and for people's attention, that it kind of like you didn't know what was real, what wasn't, who LaDanny was, and who Takashi was. Like you couldn't tell the difference at a certain point. Then it goes into his charge that happened with him and that underage girl, and the rape charge, and he wound up going to jail for a few months after pleading guilty. Uh, it's then talks about how after he got out of jail, that's when he stopped putting so much you know sexualizing inside of his videos, and he started focusing more on just having a whole bunch of dudes in the background, just kind of like what his videos became when he blew up. It started when he got out of jail, where it was just a whole lot of dudes, and he was just rapping, and it was just in weird places doing weird stuff. I feel like some of these events in this documentary is out of order, because if I remember, I thought that Gummo dropped and blew up, and after it blew up, that's when Trippie Redd and everybody found out about the whole pedophile case, and then that's kind of what triggered the whole beef with them. But according to the documentary, the pedophile stuff happened before Gummo came out, and that Gummo was a diss record to Trippie Redd. Even though I feel like it's the other way around. I feel like, because I didn't hear nothing about Takashi at all. I didn't even hear the name. I didn't hear nothing about him until Gummo dropped. And then after Gummo dropped, I remember the whole pedophile stuff started happening immediately after that. So either my memory is just mixed up, or the documentary put the order of everything wrong. You know what I'm saying? But it's whatever. Yeah, and I didn't even know Gummo was a diss track to Trippie Redd. I just thought it was just him just talking about a random, just because rappers, me being a rapper, rappers sometimes we have imaginary opponents that we just rap to, where we just like, you this and that, and I did this, and what I'm saying? Sometimes they just be imaginary people. We just want to get our bars off. And that's what I thought Gummo was just him just getting his bars. Um, I'm low key getting I was low key getting multi personality disorder vibes from LaDanny, because like they would always say, LaDanny is just, he's just a kid from Brooklyn. He liked to play around, like to fight, like to wrestle, and crack jokes and just troll and do childish stuff. But they said Takashi was a lot more aggressive and loud, and vibrant and super energetic. So it's kind of like, okay, I get one's a rapper, one's the person, but it's like that transition to where it's like, okay, when you're this person, you're super aggressive, you're super this, you're the how would they describe it, the rainbow hair blood gangster Mexican dude. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just weird. It was just giving me those type of vibes where it's like, okay, maybe he's going through he really has mental health issues, especially with his obsession for attention. But after through all that, it went into the gang stuff, and then the whole trial, and how Takashi pretty much kind of used the gangs, and he owed people money, and there was people who felt like they that he owed them a lot because he protected them. And that's when the whole kidnapping happened, and the whole stuff with Shotty and stuff like that, where just like, a lot of people felt some type of way about just some of the things he was doing, because it's like, okay, I done got in fights like this to my Harv, who one of the dudes who got put in. Uh, I done fought at airports. I done did this for you. I done punched on rappers for you. All I want is some money, and you ain't really trying to help me out. And um, it later transitioned into kind of like a pattern of people feeling like, okay, maybe he used me to get to where he wanted, because it didn't seem like he only had love for people if he had use for them. You know what I'm saying? Even his baby mama alluded to it, saying like he likes to bring up how he wants to take care of his daughter and stuff like that, but he never sees his daughter. He never does nothing for his daughter. And it's just like he only uses her for sympathy. He only uses her for, when it's beneficial to him. So it's like, okay, you doing that to your daughter. Dudes who them put their life on the line for you are saying similar things. Your driver is pretty much saying similar things. Where it's just like, okay, Tekashi is a very, just conniving person. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Overall, the documentary is okay. It took a while to get to the part of Takashi's life that people kind of really wanted to hear about. It took almost an hour in until it got to Gummo, which is the part that everybody kind of really, what I'm saying, which isn't a bad thing, because of course we want to know about Tekashi before Tekashi, but it just took a while, I felt like, to get into the beat, to get to the meat and potatoes. You know what I'm saying? The placement and transitioning seemed a little off to me. A lot of unknown people was felt like was you know a part of it, which I guess, just to get closer and more personal with the person. You know what I'm saying? You have to talk to people that are close to person, or people who have come in contact. So yeah, you're gonna have to talk to the baby mama, which I felt like, yeah, the baby mama made sense. But like the dude with the dreads, I guess kind of made sense, but I still didn't know who he was. But like that journalist in the coffee shop and that other dude who like do graffiti and stuff like that, it didn't seem like they had much importance besides, yeah, I seen him one time when he was working at the bodega, and it's just like, okay, you just picked this dude off the street and just started interviewing them about Tekashi. You know what I'm saying? That's what it felt like to me. Like they was picking random people like, hey, have you ever come in contact with him? Well, let's talk. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird to me. And throughout the whole thing, the beginning is still kind of confusing to me, but I guess the you don't know Danny stuff was kind of like symbolizing that, you know, symbolizing what was they was going to get to. But it's like most of the stuff that they talked about in the documentary is like accessible. Like you could get that from anywhere. So it's kind of like we didn't really get to learn much, but because people already knew that Tekashi used people. Tekashi was a troll. Tekashi was very manipulative, and Tekashi did anything for attention. Like a lot of people already knew that, and that's pretty much what a lot of the documentary focused on. And it didn't really give you much new information about him that he didn't already say in the interview, or that we didn't already, get the energy or get the vibe of from just watching him. Um, I like how it ended where the dude was like, he was saying he wants to tell the story, like, because he was like, when Takashi got out, when he got released, whatever, he was like, I wanted to interview him and, kind of tell the story of a humble kid who just wanted to be famous. But he said that he couldn't get in contact with him. Nobody would let him talk to him. And he's like, I try so hard to try and tell the tale of him just being a regular kid who just wanted to be famous. But I low key feel like I've told the story of just everybody being used by this kid and being manipulated. And he said, I might be one of the victims of being manipulated to make him more famous, because I didn't get to talk to him. I didn't get to come in contact with him or nothing like that. But I made this whole big documentary about, this kid that I kind of want to give people a positive light on. But it's kind of like all I'm doing is helping his cause. Everybody, that came in his life was used to get him to a higher pedestal, to get him more famous. And now maybe I'm one of those people and I haven't even come in contact with him. And that was just interesting to me, because it's like, yeah, you kind of, you know what I'm saying? You didn't come, like, if the person is still alive, if you still have access to him, I would feel, and you're doing a documentary, I would feel talking to them personally will kind of help the documentary. But the fact that Tekashi didn't have no, like, they had clips from different interviews that they would sprinkle through the documentary. But the fact that Tekashi didn't have no direct contact with the person who made the documentary, it's like, okay, he just hit a lick. Tekashi pretty much hit a lick, because now, like he said, it's making him more famous, because you just giving him attention, you spreading his name, and you just giving him a buzz, and he just sitting back like that's all I ever wanted. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it was okay documentary. The transitioning and the way that the story was told was kind of weird to me. I've watched documentaries before. I watched documentaries on, like, the Ted Bundy documentaries and OJ Simpson and stuff like that. I've watched those and I like those. But it seemed like something was off about this documentary, and I don't know what it is. I think maybe just because, like, of course, the Ted Bundy documentary, you didn't have Ted Bundy sitting there, but I feel like I feel like they had access to Takashi, enough access to Takashi to have some type of sit down with him instead of just using clips from different interviews and stuff like that. I feel like they should have had more people who came in contact with Takashi that were more well known. Like, I feel like if they talked to 50 Cent about, sat down with 50 Cent, sat down with Casanova, like sat down with Chief Keef, like talked to some people who weren't friends with Takashi, and Takashi kind of, like, you know what I'm saying, kind of turned on him, but had more people where it's like, okay, I beef with him for this reason or for that reason. Like, one thing they didn't talk about in the documentary was all the gangs that Takashi was trolling. Like, they talked about his beef with Chief Keef. They talked about his beef with Casanova, but like there was a point like at the beginning where, like, small, like Crips and stuff like that that weren't famous rappers out of Texas and out of California and out of this place was like messing with, was, beefing with Takashi over the way he's carrying himself, so like that. It didn't even get to talk about, the whole Jay Prince issue that happened with Takashi at one point. Like, there were certain things where it's just like, hey, we want to hear about this, and it wasn't really touched on in the documentary. So I feel like there was a lot of more interesting things they could have put into it that they didn't really get to talk about. Like I said, like, they could have got 50 Cent to talk about him, Casanova to talk about him. Could have interviewed some of the gang members that he was beefing with, somewhere, and talked about him. It could have, it's just a lot more than just, the people that nobody really knows that's from where he from, or that were friends with him or came in contact with him. They could have had more people to talk to. But like I said, it's okay. Not the best documentary, but it was something. Uh, I check it out if you want. If you don't want to, if you don't want to support Takashi, you don't got to. I only watched it because I said, hey, I watched the trailer. Might as well watch the thing and come back and talk to y'all about it. I might do this a little more if I see something that interests me. Might come to the A9 cast and review it. But that's it for me. About to get out of here. I got my retwist appointment in like 30 minutes. So I'm about to go get that done. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm getting a lot of new growth. My hair getting long. I'll see y'all next week. Too sweet. Deuces.